সেম প্রবলেম আবার।
সেম ইস্যু।
ছেড়ে থাক, কি আর করবে, জিজ্ঞেস করে নেবো, কারোর কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকলে হ্যান্ড রেজ করে নেবো, আর কি
ওই
করার।
হ্যান্ড রেজ করতে হবে সেটাই।
হ্যাঁ ওটাই, কি আর। সাত, সরি 8টা 10-15 অবধি দেখবো, চালু করে দেবো, যে আসবে আসবে।
ওয়েব চেক। পিউষ মাইক টেস্ট।
হ্যালো, শোনা যাচ্ছে?
ঠিক আছে,
হ্যালো হ্যালো হ্যালো
ঠিক
হ্যালো।
আছে, ঠিক আছে।
ওকে ওকে। আমি না তোকে অ্যাটেন্ডই করছি, ঠিক আছে, প্রেজেন্টার থেকে।
শিওর। মাইক চেক।
কিছু বল একবার, আমি শুনতে চাই এখানে, স্পিকার ঠিক আছে না?
মাইক চেক।
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, ব্যাস ঠিক আছে, ওকে। गाइस, स्क्रीन विजिबल है तो चैट पे लिख दो, स्क्रीन दिख रहा है। थोड़ी देर पे शुरू करते हैं, ठीक है? 8, 10, 8, 15 को, क्योंकि रजिस्ट्रेशन बहुत हुए थे, अभी तक सिर्फ 24 लोग आए। अरे भाई सर मत बोल, ऐसे ही इंट्रोवर्ट हूँ, ठीक है? बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है। गाइस 8:15 को शुरू करते हैं, ठीक है? अरे भाई थैंक यू दर्शिल। 8:15 को शुरू करते हैं, ठीक है? ज़्यादा लोग नहीं आए, जो आएंगे उनको लेके ही शुरू कर दूंगा मैं, क्योंकि जो मैंने पीपीटी बनाया है ना, खत्म होगा कि नहीं होगा मुझे नहीं पता, ठीक है? मैं डाउट पे था। देखते हैं 8:15 को जितने आते हैं शुरू कर देंगे। गाइस तुम में से बहुत लोग मैसेज कर रहे थे मुझे कि फ्री रिक्वेस्ट वाला इंस्टॉल नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है? मैंने इधर चैट पे डाल दिया है, ठीक है? अगर कोई दिक्कत हो तो इधर से अभी इंस्टॉल कर सकते हो, और अगर अभी इंस्टॉल नहीं होता है तो कोशिश मत करो क्योंकि ज़्यादा लेट हो जाएगा। सिर्फ जीसीपी वाला पार्ट होने से ही हो जाएगा, ठीक है? जीसीपी वाला कर लो, पॉइंट नंबर 4 है वो, ठीक है? क्योंकि वो वाला मेन है। बाकी अगर फॉलो अलोंग नहीं भी करोगे, सिर्फ देख भी लोगे तो बहुत है, ठीक है? जीसीपी वाला फॉलो अलोंग करोगे तो क्या होगा ना, लाइक हाथ पे बैठ जाएगा, दिमाग पे बैठ जाएगा कि हाँ ऐसा होता है। ओके। Okay, so a very good evening to everyone. Okay, दिस साइड पीयूष एंड प्लीज चैट पे एक बार देख लेना, ठीक है। अर्कनिल ने कुछ सही पॉइंट्स लिखे हैं, वो देख लेना, क्योंकि बहुत लोग डर रहे थे कि 15,000 रुपीज ऑटो पे भी दिखा रहा है, अगर 15,000 रुपीज कट जाएगा अकाउंट से तो क्या होगा, ठीक है। कुछ नहीं होगा, सिर्फ 2 रुपए कटेगा अकाउंट से। ऑटो पे करके क्रेडिट्स क्लेम कर लो, क्लेम होते ही ऑटो पे कैंसिल कर लो। मैंने 3-4 लोगों को करवाया है, ठीक है। शाम को उनसे बात कर लेना, नाम भूल गया था, ग्रुप पे एक बार मैसेज कर देना, ठीक है, कर लेना। तो विदाउट ऑफ फर्दर डू, लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड। सो देखो, सबसे पहले मैं ये बता देना चाहता हूँ कि आज का सेशन ज़्यादा थियोरेटिकल नहीं है, ठीक है। बिल्कुल भी थियोरेटिकल नहीं है कि मैं तुम्हें ये नहीं समझाने बैठूंगा कि व्हाट इज अ वर्चुअल मशीन, व्हाट इज कंटेनर, व्हाट इज डॉकर, ठीक है। मैं तुम लोगों को डायरेक्ट क्रैश कोर्स करवाऊंगा, जैसे यूट्यूब पे होता है ना, 20 मिनट का क्रैश कोर्स, 30 मिनट्स का क्रैश कोर्स, कि पहले देख लो कि चीज़ क्या है, उसके बाद सीखेंगे, वैसा, ठीक है। सो as we know that it's our first session on cloud and DevOps, so I thought that it would be great for you guys to have a look on this. Okay, so let's get started. So as you guys know, if you don't know me, then know me. Okay, कॉलेज में देख ही लेना, देखा होगा शायद से, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ जानने का है नहीं इधर। मैं किसी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि एजेंडा का कोई स्क्रीनशॉट लेके फर्स्ट ईयर के ग्रुप पे भेज दो, ठीक है, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर यहाँ पे टाइम मैं वेस्ट नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, टाइम बहुत कम है और पीपीटी बहुत बड़ा है, बहुत चीज़ करने हैं हमारा, ठीक है। और सब लोग प्लीज़ लैपटॉप से ज्वाइन कर लो अगर नहीं किया है तो, क्योंकि हैंड्स ऑन अभी से शुरू होने वाला है। ओके, सो पहले मैं एजेंडा का एक आउटलाइन दे देता हूँ सब लोगों को। और सबसे पहले हम सीखेंगे कि व्हाट इज अ वर्चुअल मशीन। वर्चुअल मशीन फ्रॉम 30,000 फीट, इट्स लाइक अ टीएलडीआर टाइप्स। ओके, लाइक ऊपर ऊपर से समझाऊंगा कि व्हाट इज अ वर्चुअल मशीन, व्हाई इज इट इम्पोर्टेंट, हाउ डू यू यूज दिस। ओके, सिंपल चीज़ है। फिर उसको चलाना सिखाऊंगा, एक वेब सर्वर चलाना सिखाऊंगा उसी वर्चुअल मशीन के ऊपर। वेब सर्वर बहुत ही सिंपल चीज़ होता है, ठीक है। इट जस्ट सर्व स्टैटिक फाइल्स फ्रॉम योर मशीन टू द पब्लिक इंटरनेट। ओके, yes, I know it's a lot to take in, like public internet, private internet, virtual machine, web servers. I know it is a lot, but trust me, it will help you in the future. फिर उसके बाद प्रॉक्सी सर्वर का मैं तुम्हें थोड़ा डिटेल्स में, उतना ज़्यादा डिटेल्स नहीं दूंगा, जस्ट समरी बताऊंगा कि व्हाट इज अ प्रॉक्सी सर्वर एंड हाउ डू वी यूज nginx एज अ प्रॉक्सी सर्वर। ओके, उसके बाद जीसीपी पे जाएंगे, जो कि ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है आज के लिए एंड तुम्हारे फ्यूचर्स के लिए भी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है जीसीपी। ओके, जीसीपी स्टैंड्स फॉर गूगल क्लाउड प्लेटफॉर्म। सो एज यू कैन ऑलरेडी टेल कि मैंने तुम लोगों को फ्री अकाउंट बनवाया है जीसीपी पे, इसलिए क्योंकि जीसीपी से ही हम सब कुछ कराएंगे, एडब्ल्यू से नहीं कराएंगे। रोना मत। ओके, मैं खुद भी रो रहा था एडब्ल्यू से नहीं हो रहा है ये सोच के, पर ट्रस्ट में जीसीपी भी अच्छा है, मुझे खुद भी पसंद है जीसीपी। उसके बाद हम थोड़ा सा लोकल डेवलपमेंट पे देखेंगे, लोकल वीएम स्पिन अप करके कैसे वहाँ पे डिप्लॉय करेंगे, एंड डिप्लॉय करने के बाद वहाँ पे कैसे एक वेब सर्वर चला के वहाँ पे एक दो बैकएंड सर्वर्स चलाएंगे, बेसिक एक्सप्रेस जेएस सर्वर्स। इफ यू गाइज ऑलरेडी नो नोड जेएस, देन इट विल बी प्रीटी इजी फॉर यू गाइज टू फॉलो अलोंग। ओके, एंड कैसे लोड बैलेंस कर सकते हो दोनों में, लोड बैलेंसिंग भी मैं समझाऊंगा जरूर जरूर, ठीक है। एक और चीज मैं पहले बता देना चाहता हूँ कि अगर किसी को कोई कुछ समझने में प्रॉब्लम हो, ठीक है, फील फ्री टू रेज योर हैंड। देर इज अ 3 डॉट्स नेमिंग मोर। ओके, यू कैन क्लिक ऑन दैट एंड इट विल पॉप अप अ मेनू। ओके, यस, और कौन मिसिंग एडब्ल्यूएस, यस, बट जीसीपी भी अच्छा है, ठीक है, सीख लो। एंड वहाँ पे मोड पे जाके देखना, वहाँ पे रेज योर हैंड का ऑप्शन है, ठीक है। कुछ भी समझने में प्रॉब्लम हो, रेज योर हैंड, आई विल स्टॉप द सेशन एंड आई विल मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट। ओके, पर अगर कोई लैपटॉप पे प्रॉब्लम है, लाइक वेग्रेंट नहीं चल रहा है, वर्चुअल बॉक्स नहीं चल रहा है, वीएम नहीं चल रहा है, वो बाद में आना, बाद में मैं, अंकित, कोई भी डिस्कॉर्ड पे आप लोगों को समझा देंगे। ओके, बाद में करेंगे वो लोग वो चीज़। सो लेट्स go to the next slide. So what is a virtual machine? As it sounds, it is a virtual machine. Like, it's a pretty basic and portable, lightweight machine inside your machine, running on your own hardware. Okay, लाइक कैसे समझाओ? अभी सोचो कि तुम्हारे पास एक लैपटॉप है, वहाँ उस पे 16 GB रैम है, ठीक है, 1 TB का SSD है, 32 GB का GPU है, ठीक है. सो ऑल यू डू इज वॉच नेटफ्लिक्स एंड यूट्यूब. काम काम तो लगता नहीं है बाकी हार्डवेयर, है ना? क्या करोगे बाकी हार्डवेयर लेके? काम तो होता ही नहीं. हार्डली इट वुड गेट 1% और 2% यूटिलाइज्ड, है ना? सो व्हाट यू कैन डू? लीड कोड. ओके भाई, लीड कोड ही तो वही हो गया ना, वेबसाइट जैसा. कोई दिक्कत नहीं. सो व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू से दे कि you can divide your own laptop into multiple machines. By machine I mean multiple servers. You can divide it, and each server is called virtual machine because it is not a physical machine. The machine is living inside your laptop. Yes, it might sound a tricky at first, but trust me, whole cloud and DevOps is based on virtual machine. Without virtual machines, we can't do anything like deployments, anything. Okay. So you can see, I mean, it is a virtual machine. Okay. अभी समझाया. राइट साइड पे तुम लोग देख सकते हो, ठीक है. um, सबसे पहले देखो, ये जो राइट साइड पे है, ये आर्किटेक्चर है. ओके. लाइक एक तुम्हारे लैपटॉप का आर्किटेक्चर. सबसे नीचे लैपटॉप पे क्या होता है? तुम्हारा रैम वगैरह, मदरबोर्ड वगैरह, एसएसडीज वगैरह, वो हो गया हार्डवेयर के अंदर, ठीक है. कर्नल, इफ यू डोंट नो व्हाट इज अ कर्नल इज, देन नो प्रॉब्लम. ओके. कुछ भी नहीं है, जैसा दिख रहा है वही है. ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम जैसे कि विंडोज, लिनक्स एंड हार्डवेयर दोनों के बीच में बैठता है टू लेट द ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम कनेक्ट डायरेक्टली टू द हार्डवेयर. ओके. क्योंकि ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम अगर डायरेक्टली ऐसे कांटेक्ट करना चाहे हार्डवेयर से, तो इट कांट डू दैट. ओके. इट नीड्स अ इंटरमीडिएटरी टू कॉन्टैक्ट विद द हार्डवेयर. ओके. दैट इज द थिंग कर्नल डज. ओके. एंड उसके ऊपर एक और सॉफ्टवेयर लाइक चीज हम इंस्टॉल करते हैं वर्चुअलाइजेशन करने के लिए, उसको कहते हैं हाइपरवाइजर. देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ हाइपरवाइजर्स, टाइप 1 एंड टाइप 2. Hypervisor is nothing but your virtual box or VMware. There are multiple types of hypervisor, as I said. So VirtualBox, VMware workstation, which is currently installed in your laptop, is under the type 2 hypervisors because those need operating systems to be to be installed first. Okay. Otherwise, you can't install a type 2 hypervisor. There are type 1 hypervisors which are actually used by Google and AWS, Azure. They use those type 1 hypervisors inside their data center servers. Okay. Some of the examples are like VMware ESXi. Okay. Not VMware. VMware is the company. Okay. The product is ESXi. Okay. And you currently use VMware Workstation, which is a type 2 hypervisor. So basically what happens is, if you try to install a type 1 hypervisor, basically it does not need a operating system underlying that. Okay. You can directly install that on your machine's kernel. Okay. And on top of the hypervisor, you can simply just spin up multiple virtual machines. मल्टीपल वर्चुअल मशीन्स मतलब पहले मैंने बताया था तुम लोगों को कि लाइक अगर तुम्हारे पास 32 GB ऑफ रैम है, ठीक है, तो एंड तुम यूज करते हो उसमें से सिर्फ 5 GB 8 GB, विंडोज का बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. ओके. विंडोज यूज करोगे तो आइडल पे भी वो 4-5 GB खा लेता है, ठीक है. बहुत अगर गेमिंग वगैरह करोगे तो मैं समझ भी लेता हूँ 16-18 GB खाता है, बाकी तो खाली ही रहता है ना. तो वो तुम क्या कर सकते हो, लाइक तुम अपने लैपटॉप पे कुछ वर्चुअल मशीन चला सकते हो, ठीक है. कुछ भी अगर तुम लाइक बैकग्राउंड में चलाना चाहते हो, तो तुम कुछ भी जस्ट शव इट इन द वर्चुअल मशीन एंड रन द वर्चुअल मशीन इन बैकग्राउंड, इट विल जस्ट रन इट. ओके. तो हाउ डज इट वर्क इज लाइक, तुम लोगों का जो रैम होता है, एसएसडी होता है, एंड बाकी अदर थिंग्स लाइक नेटवर्क ड्राइवर्स, adapters. Okay, I'm not getting too deep into that. Yes, I will dig deeper into these after some sessions, but right now I'm not. Okay. वो सब चीजें ना क्या करता है वर्चुअल में, हाइपरवाइजर शेयर करता है जो भी कर्नल लेवल पे होता है, जो भी अडेप्टर्स वगैरह कर्नल लेवल पे होता है, हाइपरवाइजर उसे शेयर करता है। एंड उसके बाद वर्चुअल मशीन्स जो स्पिन अप करते हैं, लाइक वर्चुअल बॉक्स पे, वीएमवेयर पे तुम लोगों को याद होगा उबंटू या फिर काले लिनक्स का तुम लोग लाइक आईसो इमेजेस डाउनलोड करते हो, ठीक है, डाउनलोड करने के बाद उसको एक वर्चुअल मशीन के अंदर डालते हो एंड वो स्टार्ट करते हो, है ना। सो वो आईसो फाइल कुछ भी नहीं है, वो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का इंस्टॉलर फाइल जैसा होता है, ठीक है, दैट इज अ डिस्क इमेज एक्चुअली। So basically, this portions, sorry, very sorry. So basically, the smaller virtual portions of this, okay, these are the virtual machines, and these itself are a small, portable, and lightweight, full-fledged operating systems. Why I'm saying full-fledged? Because it has their own operating system, own kernel inside them, which is the same your laptop has. That is why a virtual machine is lightweight. Yes, it is lightweight, but not as light as containers. I will get to the containers a little bit after this, but keep it in mind. Okay, these are, yes, these are lighter than your operating main Windows or main Linux operating systems. You can just you can pretty easily spin up a virtual machine in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so it is lighter than your operating system, but it is not lighter than containers. सो विंडोज पे तुम लोग कैसे, विंडोज पे तुम अगर कभी WSL यूज कर कर चुके हो तो वो भी एक वन टाइप ऑफ हाइपरवाइजर भी है, ठीक है। विंडोज पे, विंडोज अगर तुम लोगों के पास प्रो होगा विंडोज का, ठीक है, तो देयर इज अ विंडोज ओन hypervisor called Hyper-V. You can enable that and you don't even need to install VirtualBox if you have Hyper-V. Okay. Okay. So बहुत होगी बात, ही चाहते हैं थोड़ा काम करके देख लेते हैं, है ना। चलो, तो सबसे पहले मैंने डाउट्स, हाँ हाँ, guys, if you have any doubts then you can raise your hands. Anyone has any doubt? Okay, moving on. So तुम लोग याद करो, तुम लोगों को मैंने दो सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करने के लिए बताया था, ठीक है। एक था वर्चुअल बॉक्स एंड एक था वेग्रेंट, है ना। इज इट विजिबल, लाइक इज इट रीडेबल, पढ़ सकते हो ना। ओके, नाइस, ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। So you can start following along. Right this moment, we are starting to have some hands-on experience. You can start opening your terminals in, if you are on Linux. You can open your PowerShell if you are on Windows. Okay, start following along. And I think the basic commands are pretty much the same with Windows and Linux. I am on Linux. Okay, so if you have any doubt, feel free to raise your hand or chat in the chat box. Okay, I can see that. Okay, I think you guys would need yes. So पहले मैं तुम लोगों को वर्चुअल बॉक्स का थोड़ा दिखा देता हूँ, ठीक है। लाइक वर्चुअल बॉक्स का यूआई बहुत ज्यादा सिंपल है, ठीक है, बहुत ज्यादा सिंपल है। इधर से तुम लोग न्यू पे क्लिक करोगे तो तुम्हारा जैसे VMware पे करते हो सेम ऑप्शंस आते हैं, यहाँ पे आईसो सिलेक्ट करो, वैसा ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, बट इट इज बोरिंग, राइट। लाइक बार बार जाओ, इधर क्लिक करो, ये करो, वो करो। लाइक डेवऑप्स पे ये सब नहीं होता है ना, डेवऑप्स में सब कुछ ऑटोमेटेड होता है। And yes, quote unquote, we are not plumbers. DevOps engineers not equals to plumbers, right? So we need some way to automate this. Like समझो, जब भी तुम्हें कुछ सीखना हो, जब भी तुम्हें कुछ करना हो, ठीक है, बार बार तुम लाइक जाओगे, वर्चुअल बॉक्स खोलोगे, एक और मशीन इंस्टॉल करोगे, या फिर पुराना जो मशीन ऑलरेडी, जैसे कि मेरे पास देखो रॉकेट लिनक्स है, ठीक है, ये वाला देखो अभी ऑफ है, टर्न ऑफ है। वो जो पुराना रहेगा तुम्हारा, उसका टर्न ऑन करोगे ऐसे क्लिक करके, उसके बाद उसके मैसेज करोगे या फिर इसके टर्मिनल से करोगे। एंड यस, व्हाट VMware मैंने भी यूज किया था फर्स्ट ईयर पे, ठीक है, कॉलेज पे। भाई उसका टर्मिनल मुझे मत बताओ, ठीक है, कहीं पे कुछ नहीं दिखता है, क्लिक नहीं होता है ठीक से, टाइप नहीं होता है, बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है। सो वी नीड अ वे टू ऑर्केस्ट्रेट और automate that, right? So that's the time when Vagrant comes. If you all have installed Vagrant, try running Vagrant, just Vagrant, simple Vagrant on your terminal and press enter. See if this menu comes up or not. Okay, I think it would. चैट पे लिखो, कोई भी अगर कर रहा है चैट पे लिखो कि आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है, कोई भी लिख सकता हो। में से कोई फॉलो कर भी रहा है या फिर नहीं कर रहा है? जस्ट यस यस, जस्ट वेग्रेंट, जस्ट वेग्रेंट लिखो, एंटर मारो। अगर तुमने वेग्रेंट इंस्टॉल किया था तभी रन होगा ये, अगर नहीं हुआ था, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। एंड while you are doing that, I will provide you a GitHub link to the repo for our code and scripts. Okay? I think क्या हुआ? नहीं हुआ, बट इंस्टॉल तो किया था मैंने। उसके बाद लैपटॉप रिस्टार्ट किया था, रिस्टार्ट करने पर होना चाहिए। मैं भी पहले विंडोज ही यूज करता था सेम, तब कुछ तो दिक्कत हुआ ना, कुछ दिक्कत हुआ होगा। नहीं, बात करना नहीं होता अंकित, वो ऑटोमेटिक हो जाता है। इंस्टॉलर अच्छा है उन लोगों का, ऑटोमेटिक हो जाता था। पता नहीं, ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। आ, ठीक है, तुम लोग थोड़ा आ गया ना? हाँ ठीक है। वो टाइप टाइप थोड़ा देख लेना, ठीक है, VAGRANT, वेग्रेंट, वो देख लेना, स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक मत करो। लेट मी सी अ थिंग, लाइक रेपो था यहाँ पे, रेपो का, ठीक है, मैं तुम लोगों को रेपो का लिंक ऐसे दे देता हूँ। ये गाइस चैट पे एक बार चेक करो, ठीक है, गिटहब का रेपो का लिंक दे रहा हूँ मैं, वहां पे जाओ। ओके, लेट मी पुल अप दिस हियर ऑल्सो। जस्ट फॉलो माई स्टेप्स, ओके। तुम लोगों को जो लिंक दिया है, अगर लिंक ओपन करोगे तो ये ओपन होगा। वेट, स्ट्रीम चल रहा है, हाँ ये वाला ओपन होगा, ठीक है, GG सेशन 1। आई होप यू guys all have set up Git. I have previously uploaded a video on YouTube, like how you can set Git on your laptop. If you didn't, just please check that video. You can just search GGTIU on YouTube and you can find the video setting up Git. Okay, you have to just clone the repo. Uh, I'm just and create a any like directory, okay, and you have to clone. See, it is cloned. Go into that, cd into VM. You can see that there is a VM folder, and inside that there is a file called vagrant. Okay, let's see what is inside of that. It is a pretty simple configuration file of vagrant. Okay, what it does is it just simply imports a Ubuntu virtual machine, insert it into a public network and open it inside VirtualBox. Okay, all it does is this. Okay, you can clone that, and I think it's pretty much it. You can just type vagrant up. See, it is bringing up the virtual machine. it will take a lot more time when you are doing that in the first. Okay, so here you can see it is prompting you to choose which interface of network bridge to. Okay, as you can see, I have my Wi-Fi down here. It is connected to WLO1, so I choose one. In your case, it would take a lot more time because it has to download the Ubuntu server image, which is, I think, almost 3 to 4 gigabytes. It will take a lot more time at the first. I've already downloaded that, and I already work with that. That's why it is pretty fast for me. Okay, just keep it in mind. Let it do its work. Okay, so it is done. Okay, so actually there is some issue with my this terminal, so I had to open my another terminal, just because. So how can you know that is it up or is it down, the virtual machine, I mean? So previously I told you that Vagrant directly brings up the virtual machine with the help of virtual box, right? I told you that. So let's check virtual box. There is another entry. Can you see? VM default hyphen, sorry, underscore something something something, blah blah blah. Can you see? And it is running. But I didn't created that. I didn't go there, put all the details, and I didn't created that. And if you have already worked with virtual machines, you can already tell that bridging networks between virtual machines and your own operating system is nightmare. Okay, it is actually nightmare. If you have already worked with that, you would already know. Is Vagrant the same as Docker? No, I'll come to that a bit more after this, but it's a straight no. I've already told that yes, virtual machines are lightweight, are lighter than your own operating system on your PC or your laptop, but it is not lighter than Docker containers, or it is not same as Docker containers. I'll give you a very detailed difference between a container and a virtual machine after this. Okay, just adhere with me. Just adhere with me because it's a step by step demo. इसके पहले वाला स्टेप क्या था? आफ्टर कैट वेग्रेंट फाइल. कैट करना जरूरी नहीं है, मैं तुम्हें सिर्फ दिखाया. कैट मतलब वेग्रेंट फाइल के अंदर जो भी है तुम देख सकते हो कि उसके अंदर क्या है विदाउट ओपनिंग द फाइल. ओके, कैट के आगे क्या था? कैट के आगे कुछ भी नहीं भाई. देखो, जीजीजी वाला यहाँ पे क्लोन किया ना, गेट क्लोन किया, उसके बाद सीडी करके इसके अंदर गए, उसके अंदर भी एक और फोल्डर था वीएम करके. ठीक है, सीडी वीएम. करंट वर्किंग डायरेक्टरी देख लो, ये मैंने क्रिएट किया था डेमो वाला. उसके बाद ये क्लोन किया, इसके अंदर गया, इसके अंदर जाके वीएम पे आया, एंड वीएम के अंदर ही वेग्रेंट फाइल है. राइट, यू कैन सी दिस इज द वेग्रेंट फाइल. जस्ट ये इग्नोर करो. ठीक है, ये इग्नोर करो, ये लिनक्स के लिए मैंने लिंक किया हुआ था, दैट्स वाई. जस्ट इग्नोर. हाउ डिड यू गेट दैट रनिंग? यस, दैट इज वेग्रेंट अप. ओके, vagrant up and press enter, it will bring up the virtual machine. Okay, mine is already brought up, that's why it is not showing up. Okay, but if you are running that for the first time, then it will take a lot more time. It will almost take 4 to 5 minutes to download the image first, then it will bring up the virtual machine. Okay, and yes, one more thing, please don't be bothered with my laptop fan. Okay, it's pretty cranked up right now because my laptop is pretty hot. Okay,
No, it's okay.
ओके ओके, ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. ओके, तो मैंने बताया था ऑटोमेट करते हैं ना. देखो, ऑटोमेट हो गया ऑलरेडी. देखो, वर्चुअल मशीन हमारा चल रहा है, इधर रनिंग दिखा रहा है, पर मैं इधर से नहीं जाऊंगा. मुझे ये बोरिंग लग रहा है. मैं एक डेवलपर हूँ, मेरे को डार्क मोड पसंद है. ये डार्क नहीं है, ये लाइट थीम है. मैं चाहता ही नहीं हूँ. मैं इसे क्लोज कर दूंगा. और उसके बाद बोलो कि भैया जाओ कैसे यहाँ पे. है ना? So don't you don't need to follow this, because I am just opening another terminal at the same location. Okay, you don't need to follow this, because that terminal is does some problem with me. Okay, मेरा ईमेल मत स्पैम करना यार. ओके ठीक है, ऊपर ईमेल दिख रहा है. डोंट स्पैम. इज इट रीडेबल नाउ? कोई लिखो चैट में. इज इट रीडेबल? ओके, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, ठीक है. सो जैसे वेग्रेंट अप किया ना, याद है वर्चुअल मशीन अप करने के लिए, मेक इट अप, वैसे ही एक और कमांड होता है वेग्रेंट के अंदर, वेग्रेंट SSH. नाउ व्हाट इज SSH? SSH stands for secure shell protocol. That's another rabbit hole into the networking part. I'll get to that and after like 4 to 5 sessions. Okay, it is way more complicated than it looks. So let Vagrant do its work. I just want to SSH into my virtual machine. So for you guys, you just remember that by SSH, it means that you are connecting your terminal to some other computer's terminal. You're just connecting and you are accessing that terminal. Like विंडोज पे एक सॉफ्टवेयर होता था ना, मैं भूल गया उसका नाम, ठीक है, लाइक दूसरे का कंप्यूटर तू एक्सेस कर सकते हो तुम लोग. It is like that, but it is command line interface. It's not GUI. Okay, so let Vagrant do its work. Let's see what. See, like, can you notice something? The prompt has changed. It was not my prompt, and well, it is not my Linux too. Like, I don't have only 40 gigabytes of storage. Okay, neither do I have 21% RAM usage. Here you can see it is almost 50% usage, and neither my IP address is this. So, and can you just notice the version? Yes, you're right. Yeah, team viewer. Right, Nandesh. So, can you imagine, like, what is this? Yes, it's the same virtual machine as the virtual box has been created, right? That's the virtual machine. I can create an LS, like, let me. So, this is the home. Okay, this is the home, right? And if I just list everything, that pretty less files there are, right? If I open my terminal, see, this is also in home, and if I do this, shit, sorry, that is, you can see there are a pretty lot more files. Right, here are pretty lot more files. So that is the proof that it's not my own terminal. Okay, and if you guys are having any issues with the Vagrant SSH command, then please let me know. I think so far you would have the problem of SSH keys, वगैरह वगैरह. I don't think so that it is more. It will be more than that. Okay. ठीक है. So हम लोगों ने जो सोचा था बहुत कर लिया, ठीक है. लाइक भाई VM बना लिया यार, VM पे SSH भी कर लिया यार, तालियां वाली हो जाए. आई नो तुम लोग माइक नहीं खोल सकते, पता है, ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. ओके, सो कैन वी लेट्स बैक अप टू द PPT a little bit. So let's spin up a virtual VM, virtual box and Vagrant. हो गया है ना? What is this? लॉगिन भी हो गया भाई, हम लोग तो एक स्टेप आगे निकल गए. ये भी देख लिया, सेम सेम टर्मिनल दिख रहा है. ओके, सो this is something new, right? Okay, so let's learn what is a web server first, है ना? पहले वो सीखते हैं. राइट साइड पे देख सकते हो तुम लोग, मैंने एक डायग्राम बनाया हुआ है तुम लोगों के लिए. आई नो आई एम प्रीटी बैड एट ड्राइंग्स इन कंप्यूटर आल्सो. Okay, but please add that to this. Like, you can see that if you are this client, And if you want to see a website, static website, okay, I'm not talking about any Next.js or anything else, okay, those are something else, but at the end those are same also. But okay, if you want to see some website, like let's say you want to see google.com, you just write google.com on your search bar, right? It will go to Google's DNS and it will resolve to IP address of Google server. Then it will reach to the Google server and it is called a request. You are requesting to the server that, hey server, I need to watch, I need to see this website. I need Google right now. Please don't, I need right now. You're telling this. And in response of that, the server sends you a response. But in this response, it would be it would have a pretty high chance that it would have a static HTML file, a JavaScript file, a CSS file. There are other metadatas too, okay, like robots.txt, metadata.json, browsers.json. There are other metadatas too. In if you are a web developer already, then you would know that, okay. But pretty much every website comes with these three files. Yes, there can be multiple JavaScript files, multiple CSS files, multiple HTML files also there can be, but these three files are constant. Okay. So in response of your request, the server will fetch these static files from the database or any CDN. Like what is a CDN? What a CDN is? A CDN is nothing but content delivery system. It's a cache data store. Basically, if you request, if like a lot of people request google.com and a lot of requests come to this server, and if the server has to generate and send these static files every time a user requests, then the server will get pretty high on steroids, right? It would blown up. So what it does is it stores these pretty frequently accessed static files into a cache data store. So whenever someone makes request, it would go to the cache data store and it is pretty fast. Okay. Okay, so let's learn some theory. Okay, shall we? Okay. So in simple words, is it is a software that serves the web page from the machine as the main entry point to its local network. I've already told you that. If you request something, it will send you some HTML, JavaScript, and CSS in return of that. Like suppose you have typed gogle.co. I don't think so that it is a valid site or not. Okay. Let's hope this is not a valid site. If you request the server to send HTML, the page for goggle.co, okay, then it will also give you a HTML, JavaScript, and CSS file in back, but it will be not the same. That HTML file will be a 404 not found or 503 gateway error page. Okay, what is 404 and what is 503? Everything will be everything you will be learned. Okay, just add that to me. That are some error codes of web. So let me erase. It's pretty cluttered. All it does is serve static files. Sorry for my mistakes. Okay, serve static files. Yeah, there is something more to it, but for now it is pretty much everything you need to know right now. So basically किसी के मन में ये क्वेश्चन आया है कि भैया आप तो बोल रहे कि कोई भी सर्वर से आप वेब सर्वर सर्व कर सकते हो, है ना? तो अगर मैं अपने लैपटॉप पे एक वर्चुअल मशीन चला सकता हूँ, तो मैं उसी वर्चुअल मशीन के अंदर क्यों नहीं एक वेब सर्वर डिप्लॉय कर दूं, जहां से मेरा खुद का एक पोर्टफोलियो वेबसाइट मैंने प्रोजेक्ट में बनाया वो सर्व होगा. Yes, you are right. Yes, what? Dada, can you tell a recap of whatever had been taught before SSH? Due to network issues, I was unable to join. Sneha, sorry, but I can't go back at that moment right now because
No problem. Recording मिल जाएगा.
हाँ रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जाएगा क्योंकि I am pretty short on time. Okay, I have pretty short time. यस। सो हाँ, अगर किसी के मन में ये क्वेश्चन आया होगा कि हाँ मेरे लैपटॉप में मैं भी एक वर्चुअल मशीन चलाऊंगा एंड चला के लाइक कर दूंगा वहाँ पे एक डिप्लॉय वेब सर्वर। यस, यू आर राइट, यू कैन एक्सेस दैट। लाइक in the next step I will do that too. Okay, it's pretty simple, you can do that too. एंड रिएक्ट नेक्स्ट जेएस के बारे में जो बता रहा था ना, अगर मैं तुम लोगों ने लाइक रिएक्ट ने नेक्स्ट में प्रोजेक्ट बनाया एंड उसको अगर बिल्ड करोगे ना, तो there will be either a build or a dist folder at the build as the build artifact. Okay, and if you open those folders then you can find pretty same the static files, html, css, javascript and some other metadata which I have told you. Okay, there's a lot of theory, right? Yes, that's a lot of theory. So let's get to it. कुछ करते हैं ना, हैंड्स ऑन बताया था भैया ने, तो हैंड्स ऑन ही करते हैं। But what is the point to do all of this when we all can do npm run dev and then open localhost 3000? है ना? अगर तुम लोगों ने रिएक्ट साइट कभी डेवलप किया है या फिर नेक्स्ट जेएस साइट डेवलप किया है, तो यू कैन जस्ट टेल दैट this is this is the default command and location for next.js site. Yes, you are right, you can do this, but it is not production ready. That's a development build. Well, there is a lot of reasons to do that, like to put your actual application behind a web server. The web server will provide you these things: SSL termination, API gateway, rate limiting, reverse proxying, load balancing, caching, high availability, and the list goes on. Yes, there is a lot more. Yes, I'll tell you what SSL is, API gateways are, rate limiting is, reverse proxying is, load balancing is. I'll tell you everything. I will try to draw. Okay, let's try to draw something. Mm, ये कहाँ खुल गया? अच्छा, पुराना वाला कुछ होगा मेरा, ठीक है। लेट्स ट्राई टू ड्रॉ समथिंग। लाइक ये अगर तुम्हारा यूजर हो गया एंड suppose this is your server, and inside this you have like two virtual machines running. One is for front end, one is serving your front end, one is serving your back end. Okay, but you don't want to just make these publicly accessible, then your whole server is publicly accessible, right? You don't want to do that. What you want to do is like add another thing. Let's call it a thing right now as a w, which stands for a web server. Okay, so rather opening every port and every network address of your uh, every port and every location access for your virtual machine, you just opened a single port. Okay, and what the port is, which port is served by your front end. Okay, so you just connected your front end port here, and user can access your web server, which is nothing but it's pretty basic. It runs on port 80. Basically every network, if you would like do this google.com. Okay, if you do this, then there is a https. That means by default it is running on port 443. See, like if I put it if I have put that, then it is running on port 443, right? Guys, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Okay, just if you have any doubts, then let me know. Okay, I'm coming right now. Please. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. So you can see that there is an HTTPS. Okay, I have already told you. So basically, it's the default port is 443. It is for the HTTPS, and if you want to remove the HTTPSS, then it will be defaulting on port 80. But basically, because Google has already their SSL certificates on place, that means it won't let you do normal HTTP. 8080 for establishing connection. Nandish, I didn't get your question. Can you elaborate? If you run your React app on 8080 or something else on 8080, then you have to put 8080 after this, right? As you can see, nothing in Excel server is running on 8080. That's hence that is not doing anything. Okay, but default for HTTP, that the default port is 80. Okay. Okay, so a lot of things are done. Let's go to the server and let's do something. So after installing a virtual machine, you have the first thing to do in Linux is sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade y. Okay, not it's nothing but the software update of your Windows machine. Okay, you have to do that from the terminal. That's that's the only difference. It is the same thing. If you don't do this, then you can't install anything because the things are outdated by default. So while it's doing this, please let me know if you have any doubts. I know you have a lot of doubts. Like if you want to know something, it can be anything. Please let me know. I want this session to be a interactive session, not a conference and not a speaker type session. अच्छा, तब तक मुझे ये बताओ कि तुम लोगों में से कितने कितने लोग फॉलो कर रहे हैं अभी तक आ पाए इतना तक कौन कौन जस्ट टाइप मी फॉलो अलोंग कर रहे हो फिर भी लिख दो मुझे सिर्फ जानना है कौन कौन कर रहा है क्योंकि आई नो इट्स नथान होल्ड यस ओके मी किशले अनुराग नाइस नाइस okay so guys whenever it happens just press tab it will go on the okay and press enter. This is nothing but the kernel update. I've told you about the kernel. That was the kernel's prompt. Okay. Okay. So let's install a web server. Do you guys know about curl? It is the same. It is the same thing like you're doing this. Hana? It's the same thing. Let's do that same thing here. Curlworld.com. Just I told you. No. Uh-huh. Sneha, no. Okay, Sneha, I thought you told me something that you are not something in your laptop is not working, right? Doesn't matter. You can come to Discord after the session or after any day. Okay, I'll guide you. A lot of people are following, right? Good to see. Look, remember I told you something that if the site has some problem, then it will also give you a HTML back. See, 301. That is HTTP error code too. But Piyush Bhaiya, Google.com is a valid site, right? Why this is doing this? Yes, it is a valid site, but Google has its own security purposes, so no one can do this. Whatever I have done, okay. Yes, you can do that with curl and wget too, but there are some other parameters. I'm not getting into that. Those things will be taught by Mohak and Anurag, because those are their parts. Okay, I can teach you. I will just tell you. Okay, after this session. So what happens if I try to access my own laptop's IP? I can access my laptop's IP by this IPA, okay, and I know that the IP will be this, because I can say that this is the loopback address because it is LO, it is the loopback, and this is the private IP address, and I also know that this is the bridged IP address of my virtual machine which I used to connect to this WLO1 adapter while starting up the virtual machine. This is the bridged IP. How can I know? Because my Wi-Fi has a default network address of 50.10.x.x. Okay, that's why I can tell that this is the main IP address. So, what if you don't know? What if you don't know the IP address? What if? Then how can you curl that? You can too. Ever heard of this? This is the same like doing this. This is the same. Localhost points to this IP address, which is the loopback. So making a request to this IP address is the same of making a request to your laptop's web server if you are running a web server too. Okay, so let's install a web server. Okay, so what is the command bhaiya? Sudo apt install nginx. There are other web servers too. Apache 2, that's a web server too. Tomcat, there are Apache Tomcat too. Okay, there are HA proxy. There are Trafic too. Trafic, you can't install Trafic like this. Trafic is based on Docker container, so you have to do that in that way. Okay. So for our simplicity, we have to do just this. It will install prompt Y. It will install Nginx on your laptop. Okay. It is the same kernel thing. Tab, enter. It will be the same. Anyone have any doubt till now? Because I'm running pretty low and I have to do this ASAP. So after that, we have to start the web server. Okay. Sudo systemctl start nginx. Systemctl stand for system control. You are controlling your system. Okay. Why nginx? Yes, a pretty good answer. Why nginx? Let's Google. Google chacha. Why people use nginx? People use nginx primarily because of its exceptional performance in handling high volumes of concurrent requests. Blah 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 blah. इतना नहीं समझना है ना? मैं बता रहा हूँ सुनो. nginx इसलिए यूज कर रहे हैं क्योंकि बहुत सारे वेब सर्वर्स है. अपाचे पुराने वक्त में यूज होता था, ठीक है. आज से 20-30 साल पहले अपाचे यूज होता था. nginx ज्यादा यूज होता है बिकॉज इट्स मल्टी थ्रेडेड. It can handle a large volume of concurrent requests. Like if I had time, then I can show you that it is running almost 768 threads on my laptop to respond requests. That means it can respond to 768 requests per second. Okay, that's the reason. And another reason is pretty simple. Nginx is used by 99% of the companies who are deploying their static applications on web. Okay. uh Typo. Nothing comes up, that means it is running. Okay bhaiya, let's try to open localhost then. L- like you already know that I don't have SSL certificate. That means I am gonna run this HTTP colon colon, and the default port is 80. Okay. Huh. What did go wrong? Let's go to this. Hmm. Let's do this तो हो रहा है. ये क्लोन रिपो का वो लिंक है, ठीक है. किसी को स्कैन करना है तो कर लो. सेम रेपो का लिंक जो मैंने चैट पे दिया था वही रेपो का लिंक है, ठीक है. स्कैन करना है तो कर लो जल्दी से. ठीक है. मूविंग ऑन. हाँ. सो व्हाट डिड वी डू रॉन्ग? ओके. भैया इधर से करते हैं. हाँ. That is a valid HTML file and it is saying that welcome to Nginx. भैया what did go wrong? यहाँ पे लोकल होस्ट नहीं चल रहा है, यहाँ पे चल रहा है. What did go wrong? It is the same
वो तो
thing.
HTTPS हो गया ना.
नहीं, इधर भी HTTP ही हो रहा है. दिखाओ. सेम. देखो सेम रेस्पॉन्स आ रहा है HTTP
ब्राउजर
की.
में HTTPS हो गया.
नहीं नहीं, अच्छा इधर. अच्छा ठीक है, वो चेंज करते हैं. चलो.
मे बी.
अच्छा ठीक है, HTTP हटा देते हैं पूरा. इधर ये होगा क्योंकि अभी लोकल होस्ट इधर चल ही नहीं रहा है. अगर लोकल होस्ट इधर चलता तो वो ऑटोमेटिक HTTP पे चला जाता. अभी नहीं चल रहा है तो माय ब्राउजर इज प्रीटी browser thinks that he is pretty smart, so he is putting the HTTPS. Okay, but I'm telling you it won't do anything. Why? I told you that I have bridged this virtual machine to my adapter. So here is the part comes where the confusion starts. Well, this localhost and this localhost are not the same. This localhost points to the local. Yes, sorry for interrupt. मैं just join किया, थोड़ा recap मिल जाता तो अच्छा था. ब्रो रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जाएगा, ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जाएगा. प्लीज स्टे विथ मी. ठीक है, जो मैं बता रहा था, ये वाला लोकल होस्ट मेरे लैपटॉप का जो नेटवर्क चल रहा है, ठीक है. लेट मी शो यू माय आईपी एड्रेस. बहुत बहुत है इधर, ठीक है, घबराना मत. लेट मी फाइंड. Yes, that's the loopback. That is, this localhost is pointing to that, but it is not the same as this is this loopback. Why? Because it's another machine inside my laptop, right? So স্নেহা কোনো অসুবিধা নেই, তুই লিভ করতে পারিস, পরে রেকর্ডিং পেয়ে যাবি. ওকে, নো সমস্যা. ওকে, সো acha, oh sorry, I now get this. Maybe this connection problem is due to network change. Yes, you are kind of right and kind of wrong too, but I'll give you a point for this. Okay. Yes, I have bridged this virtual machine to my laptop's network. So hence, if I have to access this virtual machine from my laptop, then I have to access its IP, which is this one. Remember, I told, if I now put this and remove the S, is it working? Is it working now? I'm refreshing. Here you can see that not secure sign because it's HTTP, not HTTPS. Why and not any other number? Yes, it's a networking question. Okay, I'll answer that. So basically, there are, I have forgot the exact number, but there are millions of IPv4 addresses in this world, but we have ran out of the IP addresses because we have trillions of machines which need network access, so we can't put every IP address to everything, because there was a flaw back 1990s when the IP address invented. Okay, there was a big flaw. There are classes. Okay, sorry, my IP classes. You can see there are 4 types of IP addresses: class A, class B, C, D. Can you see the ranges here? 1 to 126, 128 to 191. Can you spot anything here? वन एक से 126 तक है, बट 128 से 191 बाकी सब सेम, बाकी सब ठीक है, मत देखो बाकी को, बाकी वाला ये वाला देखो, ये तो क्लास ए एंड क्लास बी. डिड यू फाइंड एनीथिंग हियर? Yes, there is a whole section of 127.0.0.0 IP address which is missing. Why is that? Your laptop has that section of IP address. My laptop also has that. My PC also had that. Everyone's smartwatch, smart TV has also that. Okay. How many IP addresses?
अच्छा कोई डाउट
120.
है चैट में?
না তো বলেছি তো ওটাই বলছি অ্যাকচুয়ালি. Let's see if Google can answer that. Yes, so there is 16 million IP addresses in that particular section, starting from this ending to this. There is 16 million IP addresses which are missing, and every computer has that. That's the loopback address of your laptop. So if you try to access that, find that part of IP address, it will request back to your own machine. Okay, that's why it is 127. And why everyone chose 127's part, I didn't know that, but it was a flaw. Okay, because back then, like, this much of IPv4 addresses was a pretty big overkill for them who invented IP addresses. Okay, it was pretty overkill because no computers, because there were not a lot of people who had computer in their houses, and among them they don't even have internet connections. Like इतने IP addresses लेके करेंगे क्या वो लोग? So जितना जो लगा उनको दे दिया. Like there is 1.1.1. This is Cloudflare DNS. There is 8.8.8.8. That is Google DNS. Okay. They literally gave 16 million IP addresses to Cloudflare, 16 million IP addresses to Google. Like they literally gave out this much of IP addresses. That's why we ran out of IP addresses pretty fast. Okay, so let's come to the point again. Okay, so our web server is running. Okay, let me show you one thing more. If I do this, something random, will it work? Chat पे लिखो, will it work? कोई भी लिखो. Like Nginx का पेज मुझे दिखेगा इधर? Yes, no. पर काम तो कर रहा है. पर ये आईपी एड्रेस तो लिस्ट ही नहीं है. ये तो पूरा लाइक रैंडम था. ओके, लेट्स ट्राई समथिंग एल्स. ये भी रैंडम है, ठीक है भाई, फिर भी काम कर रहे हैं, फिर भी आ रहा है. क्या हो गया इसको? दिमाग खराब हो गया क्या वर्चुअल मशीन का? नहीं खराब हुआ. मैंने जस्ट तुम लोगों को दिखाया था कि देयर इज अ रेंज 127.0.0.0 through 127.255.255.255. That is the 16 million IP addresses your laptop has. So if you make request to any 127.x.x.x, that will resolve to localhost or 127.0.0.0.1. Yes, you're right. All the IPs in the 127 segment requests back to your own devices. That's the whole other error things when happens to the beginner React developers or Next.js developers, because they can't find their development sites to from other friends' laptops. Okay, I'm giving you a challenge. Try to open this IP in your laptop. It's my IP address. Okay, I can access that outside my virtual machine. I have gave that IP to the chat. Try to open that IP in your laptop. Try to find that if you can find the Nginx page there. If anyone can find that, I'll give him a Google T-shirt. Okay, right now. Open challenge. While someone does that, let's move on. Okay, that was the repo. साइबर सिक्योरिटी नर्ड्स कहाँ हो? भाग गए, सो रहे हैं. क्लाउड के सामने कोई कुछ बोल सकता है क्या? भाई पब्लिश मत करना लाइफ पे. ओके, बट वेट पीयूष, व्हाट इज डॉकर? हाँ, कोई तो पूछ रहा था ना डॉकर से ये डिफरेंट कहाँ पे. कोई तो पूछ रहा था. कौन पूछ रहा था? कहाँ गया चैट का? चैट कहाँ गया? चैट कहाँ गया? भूल गया. कोई तो पूछ रहा था. Okay, well, it is a lightweight virtual machine like thing. Why it's a thing? Someone named Devangshu Chakravarti, I think. Right? Is Vagrant the same as Docker? No. Bapre. Arkanil gave him a long answer to this question. I don't even want to answer that. Okay. Okay, so I don't want to dig deep into Dockers and containers. Okay. So I'll just go to the next slide because there is a diagram of that. Can you see this diagram? Can you spot any similarities here? That is the same architecture I have shown you previously, right? When I was telling you what a virtual machine is. That is the same diagram. Okay, just have a look. And this is the diagram of container, a Docker container, a Podman container, or any type of container engines container. So these are the pretty much same, but there is a difference. Okay, this part is the pretty much same. Your laptop's hardware, your kernel, your operating system, but in place of hypervisor, you have another thing called container engine. It can be container D, it can be Podman. By the way, container D is the engine of Docker. Okay, Docker and Docker runs container D under the hood. Just keep it in mind. Okay, एग्जाम्स पे नहीं आएगा, बता दे रहा हूँ. भूल जाओगे तो भी कुछ नहीं होगा. Let me erase these. After that, can you see these things? These are the containers. Okay, let's compare these containers to virtual machines like these. Your virtual machine will also have a virtual hardware which is pretty much linked to your actual hardware. Your virtual machines will have their own kernel which will not be linked to your own kernel. They will have a full-fledged operating system. By full-fledged, I mean you can use a virtual machine for your daily tasks. They have a full-fledged operating systems. And on top of that, you can run anything, just as we are running what? Nginx. You can run anything on that. It's pretty cluttered up. Let's remove. Okay. But can you see the difference? On top of the container engines, we are running the containers, but the containers only have the binaries of the applications. Yes, it will have a small part of the operating system inside it, but it will be not a full-fledged operating system. Okay, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Sudo docker run. Okay, मैं एक हेलो वर्ल्ड करके कंटेनर रन करना चाहता हूँ जो कि हेलो वर्ल्ड इमेज यूज करेगा. ओके, it will pull the image. It is pulling the image like you can see, and it is showing something. Do you know something about this? This is not coming from my system. This is coming from the container's operating system. It was stored in the operating system. Can you see the hello world here? right here. It is showing that this is a 10 kilobytes image, right? I am okay. Can you see this? Whole MySQL thing just costs only 501 MB. Whole MongoDB costs only 855 MB. Whole Postgres, literally. Okay, let's look at this. Whole Postgres only costs 275 MB. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. It's this image alone runs a Linux server under the hood, and the Linux server has a full-fledged Postgres ready for production. Yes, let me be clear. Ready for production Postgres version of it inside almost 275 megabytes. Crazy, right? You can also run a whole Ubuntu operating system inside a container, but it will be a small, lightweight, and portable version of the Ubuntu. That's the difference. Okay, that's the difference. Yes, we did it. But wait a second, Piyush. You told us that we'll be deploying a web page. Yes, but it's the default page. I need the actual page. Where is that, Piyush? Okay, let's fulfill that too. Everyone can clone this repository. It doesn't only have the vagrant, it has a lot of thing inside it. Okay, let's see what it has. It has two directories, a blue, green. Okay, just ignore this fraud now. It has blue and green. Let's cd into blue. Let's see what does it have. Vim. It has a Docker file, index.js file, package.json file, and pnpm log file. Okay, let's open the index.js file. Can you see import express from express, const express, app.get, app.listen? And it is running, it's returning blue from it. It's a pretty simple backend express API. Okay. If you have worked with fast API, it will be the same. Okay, let's go to green. And I know it has a index.js. Okay, can you see something? It is green. It is returning green because it is inside green, and it is running on port, sorry, 8080. Just keep these things in mind. Okay, now I need to install a thing which will help us run the scripts. It's nothing but a helper tool to run the scripts which I have already written. Where do I have already written? Make file. These are the scripts: run blue, build. Can you see the commands? Sudo docker run, daemonize, port 8080. I am opening the 8080 port of my green container. And this is the image, last one. Okay, this one is the image. This is for blue. Build. I am building the Docker images. I am just restarting. I'm just putting everything inside the nginx configuration file, and I'm just returning that. Okay, it's the same thing, nothing else you want. And it is pretty same installing Docker because it doesn't have Docker pre-installed in this system. Okay, let's install. Let's give it some time. Okay, so while it does that, if anyone have any queries about this, you can ask me. Yeah, I know. I have told you guys that I'm gonna show you guys how to deploy a thing in GCP. Yes, if I have time, then I'll go to that. But I have already planned a second workaround for that. I will be not creating the virtual machines on GCP manually. I will be showing you guys a way how actual DevOps engineers and operation team does that. I'll just simply run a script. Okay, I'll just simply run a script on my laptop and it will create the virtual machines on the GCP. Okay, let's give it some time to install Docker, because without Docker we can't do anything. Okay, after that we also have to build the images from the blue and green folder. I hope it's not too boring for you guys. I know it's a pretty little boring, but I hope it's not. Guys, please chat में कुछ तो लिख दो, कुछ लिख दो, कुछ भी. Let's build. You can see that building Docker image from the blue and green deployments. Okay, building Docker images for blue and not boring, but kind of hard to understand. Yes, it's kind of hard because I have already told that I am going to give you a crash course. I'm not teaching you everything right now. You can already see that I am not teaching you guys, right? Okay, so we have built the images. Let's see the images. Sudo docker image ls. You can see two images, same name, ses1, but tags are the other different, blue and green. Is it possible to do these in a GUI rather than NCLI? No, it's not. Yes, let me be clear, it's not, because if you run a virtual machine, you can't connect to the virtual machine through a GUI. It's only gonna be happen by SSH. Yes, there are ways, but those are not development ready ways. You have to learn terminal, you have to learn Linux. Without that, you will be not a good developer, right? Because if you know how to code, how to develop websites, you know how to develop AIML models, but you have to also know that how to operate on Linux, because those will be deployed on the cloud, those will be deployed on the Linux. You are not going to deploy a machine learning model on Windows, right? Neither to Mac OS, right? You have to deploy it on Linux. And yes, you guys use Jupyter notebooks, right? Jupyter notebooks are also running Linux under the hood, but it is a way to give you a GUI to the terminal. You can also access the terminal from Jupyter notebook if you can remember. Okay. Okay, so let's run. I said no. Let's localhost 8080. Right, it's the place where the green is. Wait a second. Why is it not running? Because we didn't run that. Make run. Okay. That gave us 2 hashes for the containers. Okay, now do that. Cannot get. Yes, if you have recognized, I have put the health in there. You can see the response here. Okay, like green, it's coming from green. Okay, let's do from let's do it from blue. Let's try. Yes, it's coming from blue. Yes. Then what after? Let's try to access the Nginx page. What is the error? Let's refresh this. What is the error? It wasn't here before because I have changed the Nginx configuration file. It is now load balancing. Yes, it is now load balancing between the two containers. Okay, between the green and blue containers, which is running under the hood. Let's try to put, because it was in the URL. Now it is green, but I'm running the same. What is happening, Piyush Bhaiya? I'm running the same commands here, localhost health, but sometimes it's coming from blue, sometimes it's from green, because it is load balancing. I have told you that it is load balancing between the two containers, right? Like at some point it is putting all the requests to the green container. Sometimes it is putting all the containers to the blue container. Why do we need that? Because we will be needing that for let's say high availability. let's say you have a food ordering backend. You have built a food ordering backend. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me draw. Okay. Would it be great? Yes, it would be. You have created a food ordering app and it is running on port 80. Let's say 443, which is the HTTPS port. Okay. There is, let's say, 100 users accessing this. It's pretty good. Its CPU usage is around 50%, RAM usage is around 70%. Okay, this server is pretty good right now at this point. But what happens if this is cranked up on 100 to 1000 at Black Friday sale? You gave a Black Friday sale which says that yes, yes, it is scaling up, but in another way. There are two types of scaling. Okay, one is horizontal scaling, one is vertical scaling. Okay, if you scale your server to vertically, it means that you are like let's say first your server had two CPU core, 4 GB of RAM. If you try to vertically scale, then it you will be cranking this up, let's say 8. Like, but there is a limit now. Like, I think that's the 192 or 198, 192 core CPU, the maximum in the world, which is available right now. And it is, I guess, almost 256 or 512 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, it is the limit. After that, you have to put same thing of another thing. Okay, but at that moment, you don't need this much. You will be needing the half. But can you see a thing like your is 4.xyz? Your website is running at that. Okay, it is pointing to this IP, and this IP is pointing to this server. But doesn't have your IP doesn't have a way to know that there is another server you have created. It doesn't know. How can it just go and put this here, right? There is then that's the place when a thing called load balancer, LB, load balancer kicks in. This points to this, and this also point to this. After that, everything you have to shift right like this. It is pointing the load balancer, and the load balancer is pointing to both of it. Okay, so sometimes you can order a food from this server, sometimes you can order this. And let's say you can, it also can happen like it is running from US Central 1, it is around Asia South 1. It can be happen. These are cloud servers, you can place them anywhere in the world you like. Okay, so what if something happens on Asia, like like South Korea drops a nuke in the Asia, okay, and every servers are destroyed, still it will be running, and the load balancer will only be multi-region disaster recovery. Yes, yeah, North Korea, yes, sorry, North Korea, yes. I think Nandesh have already some knowledge in cloud, right? Am I right, Nandesh? Yeah, it's overkill for him for this class. Actually, 90% of the students in the class in this meeting is GCC certified. I guess. Baap re, khatarnak. Nope. Acha, nice. It's a good knowledge by Nandesh. Keep it up. Good. Yes. If something happens to this server, it is still running up, so this can route your request to this, so that your website doesn't get down. This is called load balancing. Okay, so let's do the same thing here. Let's put health and check the health of our site. Just keep mind in this, okay? And the URL also, okay? The URL is the same. IP address. I can't zoom the IP address, but the IP address is same. I was going through the cloud security. Ah, I get it. Yeah, it has a good future actually. Go on. If I reload the page, can you see a thing? It just changed, but the URL same. Let's reload, reload. Isn't it the same thing what I have like showed you? है ना? अभी मैंने यही दिखाया तुम लोगों को. Like it is the load balancing and it is load balancing, right? हाँ भैया, हमने कुछ अच्छा किया है. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. But okay, let's do another challenge. Try opening this link. I have put it inside the chat. Okay, try opening the link. If anyone can access that, try opening. I am telling you, you can't. Why? Because it's my private Wi-Fi address. It's the IP address for my Wi-Fi router, right? And it's private network. You can't access it. You have to connect to my Wi-Fi to access this. And my laptop is already connected to the Wi-Fi. That's why I can access this virtual machines. But what if भैया अभी तो आपने बोला था कि पोर्टफोलियो हम डिप्लॉय करेंगे. Yes, we are going to. We are going to deploy portfolio. We did it. Actually locally हमने कर दिया, but actually नहीं किया. Let's try if we can access each other web servers. I'm hoping that तुम लोगों में से किसी ने भी ये इस तक नहीं आए हो तुम लोग, तो that's why I'm not asking for your IP addresses. Okay, no problem. Wait, someone did ask SSH. SSH is stands for Secure Shell Protocol. Okay, it stands for Secure Shell. Wait, why can't I see the web server of my friend? Right? You can't see my page. But Piyush, what if I want to share this and make this my production deployment for my project? Which you shouldn't do. There are production ready ways which you have to follow, but it is not the actual way, okay? Use cloud. What is cloud server? Well, it is the basically same thing what we have done to the locally, okay? But the only difference is this will be hosted on cloud, and this can be just this can be hosted on any part of the world. I can control that, okay? Where do I want the server to be? And yes, you pay for what you use. You pay for the only time you use the resource. You don't need to manage the underlying hardware yourself, like the virtual machine. Yeah, virtual machine. I can say goodbye to the virtual machine. I can log out. Yes, I can log out. Okay भैया, but उसके बाद आता है GCP. What is GCP? Google Cloud Platform, है ना? सभी को याद है ना? Let's create the same VM on GCP. मैंने सबको बोला था GCP का अकाउंट बनाने के लिए, ठीक है? Just let's open the GCP console for right now. I think I have logged in already. I hope I am. Yes, I am. बेटा हो जा बेटा, टाइम नहीं है. Guys, would it be too much hard? Would it be too much problematic if I just extend for 15 minutes or 20 minutes more? Because I need some time to actually complete the session. Please chat पे कोई लिख दो. Problem होता I will stop at dot 10 p.m. Okay. Okay. So this is the place you can find something called compute engine. Okay. This is the same thing you have created the virtual machine on your local, but it's hosted on cloud, and you can create a virtual machine on the cloud from this. If you have already, go on sir. अरे भाई सर नहीं हो भैया. Okay. If you have already logged in, then do one thing. Go here. Go APIs and services. Enable APIs and services. Okay. Guys, everyone please do this, okay? Everyone can do this, okay? You can follow along with this from now, okay? हो गया, locally हो गया सब, अभी cloud पे होगा, ठीक है? इधर से you have to enable APIs and services. Now search for compute engine, है ना? Compute engine API. Here is compute engine API. You have to search at the API, okay? And if you are running this for the first time, you can see that this button will say enable. You have to enable the API, okay? After enabling that, it will take some time. You can see here that it will be enabling, okay? It will take some time. Then go back to compute engine. After it says here that it is enabled, you can go to VM instances and you can create an instance. I'm just showing you the way how you can create the VM instance, okay? Here you can select. See, there are pretty much every option you can choose from, like how much CPUs do you want. See, I've told you that there is the limit of like 192, but oh shit, the maximum here is 360, right? Can you see the maximum limit is 360? Can you believe that? Let's see the monthly cost. बाप रे, $100. डो मत करना, ठीक है? E2 सिलेक्ट करके रखना. यू कैन
अरे जाएगा.
डू एवरीथिंग हियर. क्या क्या?
इट्स अ जोक. इसमें तेरा घर चले जाएगा.
अच्छा अच्छा, सच में यार घर चला जाएगा भाई. बट आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डू दिस इन दिस वे. You can just whoever you are following along with me, okay, you can create your own instance. Just go here, put the name, create. Let's see, create. Just click on the create, okay? I will manage that. Just create. Let's try out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna do something else. Okay. You don't need to follow this. I'm doing something else. Ah, okay. Let's open this in VS Code. भाई यहाँ पे कोड कहाँ से आ गया? भाई ठीक, सही बात कही है. कोड कहाँ से आ गया? Whatever you were trying to do in the GCP console, it's the same of running this script, these files. It's the same. Okay, it's the same. You have to just download gcloud CLI and download the credentials from Google. I'm not gonna open this. If I open this, then it's gonna be devastated because it is recording. Okay, I'm not gonna open this. I will show you everything about this. Okay, and as I don't have a much time, I will try to record this, how to do, like how to upload and do everything, and upload the video on YouTube. Okay, I'll try to do that. I'll Okay, let's make a promise. I will do that. Okay, just see this. Okay भैया, then what to do with this? आपने तो कोड किया, हमने तो नहीं किया, हमने तो नहीं पता है पर ये काम कैसे करता है. ओके, जैसे कि वेग्रेंट इंस्टॉल किया ना, देयर इज अनदर टूल. Guys, give me 1 minute, okay? Actually, my sister is here. She is like 5 years old, okay? Like, sorry for the interruption. Give me 1 minute. I'm coming back, okay? Guys, sorry for the interruption. Sorry. I know I have put you all waiting every time. Okay, please, sorry for the interruption. Let's get to it. Yes, as I was saying that as Vagrant, HashiCorp, like the company who made Vagrant, or has already another tool called Terraform, and that's the thing we are coding here. You can see the main.tf extension. .tf stands for Terraform. That's a Terraform file. Okay, let's just quickly cd into that. Again, you don't need to follow this because it's my setup and it's not will be on your laptop. Okay, just see how a DevOps engineer creates the VM instances fastly and efficiently. Okay, okay, I am using a Ubuntu. I am giving my SSH key. This is the public key of my SSH, and I am giving my Piyush username. Okay, Terraform plan. Okay, I'm giving some variables here. I'm outputting the plan into a TF plan file. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, it gave a lot of things. Don't worry, it's a public key. Okay, if you copy that, it won't be. It is nothing. Okay, it's a public key. It's meant to be public. Okay, it is saying that it's creating a Google Compute instance. Okay, it is the instance we saw earlier. Okay, it's adding a lot of things, metadata, fingerprint, a lot of things. Uh-huh. Okay, and it is outputting a thing also, instance public IP. Now do you get it? What is the public IP means? The public IP means if I create this instance and if I provide the IP to you guys, you can access the web page.
Hello.
Yes.
So you just said that Terraform was created by the company which made Vagrant. So what is
Huh.
Terraform?
Okay. So basically, Terraform is another tool which is used in DevOps. It is basically created to automate the infrastructure. Like there is a topic called IAC. It stands for infrastructure as code. You have already known things like PaaS, SaaS, software as a service, platform as a service, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. But there is another thing in DevOps called IAC, infrastructure as code. So this is the code which is going to represent the virtual machine in the GCP in my local environment. I am coding this and I am giving this code to Terraform and letting Terraform create the instance in GCP for me. I am not manually going into GCP and doing all this stuff. So, okay, I can just go here and I can just watch it creating that. I just need to code that in once. I coded this once. I can create multiple VMs simply running this script over and over again. You can see I am putting this in Asia South 1, E2 medium. Okay, this instance I am giving the name as GT session demo. Okay, okay, okay. So I think it cleared a little bit more about Terraform. What is Terraform? Like,
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
okay, welcome. So you can see I have a file called main.tf plan which I have outputted. Okay. Now this is saying that I can run this and it will create all of this in GCP. Let me show you. Okay. Let
So
me show you.
Ordinal says it's a major automation platform, right?
It's not a platform. It's a tool.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is a tool.
Yes. There is Terraform Cloud too. There is Terraform Cloud too, where you can just simply code this on their code this on their cloud platform and they will do this kind of things. Okay, you don't need to do that manually, but there is called HCP stands for HashiCorp. Okay, the company made Terraform and Vagrant too. Actually, I'm running a bit late, that's why I'm just going all through like a marathon. Okay, You can say there is no instances right now. I have no instances here. Refresh. I don't have any instances here. Okay. Let me zoom a little bit. I don't have any instances. Okay. Let's plan. Let's apply Terraform. Apply main.tf plan. Let's see. Acha. It says something Google Compute Instance creating. Let's go to our dashboard. Refresh. Can you see this? It is creating. And it already has an external IP, which is the public IP. Okay. You already have this. Isn't it great? I can give you this code, okay, which you already have in the GitHub, and you can just run this script after installing Terraform. See, all apply complete. It already have created and already it outputs the public IP. Isn't it great? है ना? Okay, let's create another terminal, which which will be pretty simple. Okay, SSH. Did you remember the command vagrant SSH? I told you that there's a lot of things going under the hood with SSH keys, which is handled by vagrant SSH, right? Now
Yes,
we are
yes.
doing that manually. SSH, I am giving the private key file. I remember I gave the public key. Here I gave the public key. Now I just have to remove this .pub so that it will have the private key. It is more aligned with encryption. Okay. See, there is public key 2, there is private key 2. Okay. ID, RSA, another. And then I am giving my username at the rate. What was the IP? That was the IP. Remember, here I gave my username and this is the public IP. So if I put this, that's the simple issue with my laptop. Okay. It will be not on your laptop. So that's the command. Sorry. That this is the command. Okay. This means you are logging in the cloud SSH. This is this one. Okay. If I refresh one, that this is running. Okay. What if you don't want to do this, you can simply go here and click on the SSH one button. Okay. It will create a SSH version terminal in the website itself. Okay. You just have to wait. It will give you everything. You have to click authorize. If you have already done the Google study jams, then you can probably tell that this is the same thing. Okay, you have done this too. See, this is the Linux too. See, but this is the alag. This is something alag, है ना? Okay, but we are developers. We need something more control over. Like, okay, are you? Do you trust? Yes, I trust. Aha. Can you see that this prompt is kind of the same as our local virtual machine because the both are Ubuntu. This does not have the same thing. Okay, I need to clone the repo. Where is my repo? Here is my repo. It is cloned. Okay. Okay, so remember what did I tell you about doing the first thing in Linux? This is the same thing, right? And as it is running on an actual server, so it is pretty fast. It will be pretty fast. It will be faster than my laptop too. Okay, you can see it has a lot of internet speed, but sometimes it will be hanged because the machine is slower than mine. The CPU is slower than my laptop CPU. Okay, but the network speed is pretty high. Okay, so while it is doing that, do you have any doubts? Like you can't understand something about Terraform, about GCP, about web servers, public IP addresses, anything. I know there will be a lot of things which you won't understand. Nothing, nothing. Okay, okay. So let's just run through this because I have promised you guys I will do this. Okay, so let's create the same VM on GCP. Yes, I have created that. Let's SSH. Yes, I have done that. हाँ, पहले ही बताया वेग्रेंट वो देख रहा था हमारे लिए, हम नहीं देख रहे थे. Okay, so let's thank Vagrant. Hail Vagrant, everyone. Hail Vagrant. I don't know why did I put that. Let's create the containers and prep everything. Yes. Now it will feel good because I didn't do that. I have to do that. Ah, that is done. I have to install this in order to work with the scripts. Remember, I am. If you remember properly, then I am just repeating the steps of the local development to the production one, right? Make install to install Docker. Remember, because I have already created the scripts here. You can just clone the repo and play along with that in your free time. But remember to play along with this on a virtual machine, not your actual machine. You might corrupt your system in Linux. If you are if you know what you're doing, then it's okay. But if you don't know, you're a new beginner to Linux, then please try to install Vagrant and VirtualBox and please play with the virtual machines, not your actual machine. It will corrupt your system. I have lost a lot of data over this at my first year and also in my school too. Okay, so remember that. Let's let it be installed first. Otherwise, I can't do anything right now. Okay, so it has already installed Nginx. Let's try this. Aha, Nginx is working. Okay. Where is the IP? Hmm. Can you see? You can't see the public IP here. This 10.1 is the private IP because I know that 10 dot something something is the private segment. See, the 10 dot is internal IP, but the external IP is this. Okay, Piyush. So technically, I might be able to run this. Can I? It's not. It does not let me do. Okay, let's put HTTP. It is still not. Still does not. Why? It was our local development one. Okay. Why? Let's dig deeper. Hmm. So here is the Nginx one is working. Hmm. Here is the place where I also have to debug. Like what the fuck did just happened? What was the IP? 93.111.110.191. I don't know what the hell that just happened. Okay. It was supposed to be okay. Hmm. I don't need this network intelligence. Ah, did you caught this? HTTP traffic is off. HTTPS traffic off. Off. Everything is off. That is the only reason. Got it. I forgot to do this. Sorry. Networks. अपकमिंग मेंटेनेंस यार, मुझे अपना काम करने दो, उसके बाद मेंटेनेंस देखेंगे. वीपीसी नेटवर्क्स. मेरा तो हालत खराब हो गया. आई वाज सपोज टू डू एवरीथिंग राइट बट आई फॉरगॉट टू डू दिस. है ना? नेटवर्क इंटरफेस एक्सेस config. It was supposed to be okay. No, why? It was supposed to be okay actually. Oh, it is not going to respond to anything because the network is not open right now, and I like from this point I can't do that because I have to create another instance. Okay, let's create another instance if I have time. I have a little time actually, pretty little time. Let's try to run e2. No need. Also, you can see like what I'm doing. How can you do this? Ubuntu, select, data production, networking. Don't forget to do this. Ephemeral, you have to select this ephemeral. Allow HTTP, HTTPS. Create. You don't need much more than this. Okay. Let it be created. And also you have to go here in the metadata, SSH keys. You have to add item. What you are going to add? You are going to add the SSH ID RSA dot pub. It will give you the public key. Just pull out, do this, save. You're pretty much done at this point. Just let it save. Until then, go here, drop this connection because it's not going to do much for us. Prep everything, copy the new IP, paste it here, IDRSA, which was the private key, logging, again. So it happens because I have a lot of SSH connections. That's why it happens a lot of times. I have to reset it. Okay. I know I am taking a lot more time than I should be. Sorry for the inconvenience, but I don't want it to be hanging in 50%, like I didn't do everything. I don't want to do that. Okay. Let it do its work. Copy the repo link from my screen. हो जा भाई, अभी मत डुबा. So yes, the only problem was disabling the HTTP and HTTPS traffic because that was the firewall default firewall of GCP. Okay, in GCP that is disabled by default. Remember one thing I have shown you that where did I show you? Yes, you just need to open a single port rather than opening every port to your machine. That is the single port. You are opening port 80 and port 443, which is HTTP and HTTPS. Okay. Yes, the SSH key is done. It is done. It is doing its work. I hope I can finish it in time. Actually, and I need it to be done until 10, 15, or 20. Done. Make हो जाएगा भाई. Make install. So everything I'm done doing is just repeating the tasks which I've already done, which I've already shown to you. If you have any doubt, then let me know that. You can share it on the chat. You can DM me on WhatsApp, Discord, wherever you like, in LinkedIn. Okay. I know it's a lot of things to take in the first session. I just need I just need your permission to follow along and just approach newer ways to teach you cloud and DevOps. From the from the next sessions, I'll start teaching from the basics, okay, so that everyone can understand. And let me be clear, the next sessions are going to be hell of theory, okay. Make install done, make building, because we have already installed Docker with make installed. Jai Mata Di. जल्दी जल्दी. Oh, and another thing, in the Docker file, it's just simply building the project and just creating a binary to the project as a image and the make. बाप रे कितना सारा टी हो गया. हम hmm, we didn't run. Yes, that was the problem. Curl local host. Hmm, that means haha. So the IP address was this. Mm-hmm. Done. Can you see this now? It is load balancing. Try opening the link in the chat box. I have given the link in the chat box. Try opening it and see that if it's opening or not. Try opening. If anyone can open that, please click on. Yes, it's opening. Yes, it might be. It should be opening because it's a public IP address, right? It should be opening. Load balancing also working perfectly. Yes, that was the ultimate goal of our project. We have deployed two APIs and it is perfectly load balancing between them, and it is deployed on cloud, and it is also available in publicly. Yes, at this point I don't have a domain name like devpuge.com /health to put this, है ना. नेक्स्ट क्लास पे हम जरूर कोशिश करेंगे करने के लिए. ओके, अभी के लिए इतना ही काफी. सो लेट्स जस्ट रन ओवर द रेस्ट ऑफ द पीपीटी. लेट्स ट्राई इट. हाँ, ट्राई कर लिया हमने भाई. ओके, सो दिस इज द डायग्राम व्हाट वी हैव डन सो फार. लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड दिस प्रीटी फास्ट. I promise it will be fast. Okay, let's understand this. This is the cloud one. Okay, GCP provides everyone VPCs, which stands for Virtual Private Cloud, which is a virtual machine like, but in clouds theory. Okay, and also you can scan the QR code for this diagram. You can directly open this diagram by scanning this QR code. Okay, and inside that VPC, we have created a compute instance. Remember? And inside the compute instance, we are running two containers, a blue container, a green container, which are running in port 8080 and 9090. And no one can access directly that. Let's prove my theory. Okay. Let's go to my local. Where was the? अच्छा link. Link कहाँ पे था? Chat पे था ना link. Copy link. HTTP health. हाँ, right. Health तो काम कर रहा है भाई. But it is load balanced, right? It's green, blue, है ना? Green, blue, green. It is load balanced, but I specifically need the green one. Remember green one's port 8080. Remember port 8080. Let's enter. भैया कंटेनर तो चल रहा था, अभी फिर से आपने क्या किया? पहले कंप्यूटर इंस्टेंस नहीं चल रहा आपका, अभी कंटेनर एक्सेस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. देयर इज अ रीजन, राइट? देयर इज अ रीजन. कैन यू सी दिस वॉल? This is the firewall. This is GCP's default firewall for blocking everything except port 80 and port 443. Except only these ports are open so that anyone can access the Nginx web server, which is load balancing between these two containers. So we have to first go through Nginx and the load balancer to get through the containers, so no one can mess up with our code, with our binary files inside the containers, because those are vulnerable parts of our virtual machine. This is the main part where everyone's sites get hacked. Okay, I'm not bragging myself, but you can call Anurag or Mohak to try break into this compute instance. Okay, I also want to see that how a cybersecurity specialist can break into this firewall, because it's default by GCP. Okay, so this was it, I guess. अरे भाई eraser. हाँ, this was it, I guess. Let's see the next
Impossible to
slides.
break, I think. So
Yes, it.
hackers to
Yes,
mostly exploit vulnerabilities. If there are no
yes.
vulnerabilities, so how will
Yes, currently there are no vulnerabilities because we can't access directly the containers. We have to go through the Nginx. And if you guys remember, Nginx provide SSL terminations. Like if a user logs in and accesses this, then the request will be forwarded by Nginx with rather than doing this. The user can't do this. User have to go to Nginx, and Nginx will forward that request, scan that request and load balance, then forward the response to the user on behalf of the containers, as in Nginx is the user. Did you get it? That is, nothing is happening like this. Everything happening is this, then this, this, then this. I know I'm pretty bad at diagrams and drawings. Okay. Okay, questions? Let's connect. It's my link tree. Okay, so so now if anyone has any more further questions, then you can ask me. Otherwise, grab the materials. This is the document for the diagrams, and this are the slides. Okay, you can scan. I'm staying right here. Anyone can take a screenshot and share this in the group. Okay, so everyone can access the slides also. So this was it. Thank you guys for attending this session. So if anyone have any questions, feel free to ask, or else everyone can leave. Good night, everyone.
thank you, thank you. It was a great session.
Okay, okay, welcome. Okay, welcome everyone. Okay, everyone have a good night. Everyone can leave this session. Good night, good night, Rajat. Good night, Nathan. Good night, Ananna. Good night, Arkanil. Ankit, good night. Good night. Also, I'm gonna try to provide the recording. Ankit also have recorded, I think. Okay, guys. Okay, you can leave.